Thank you for coming on here again. I know I've been doing this quite a bit, and for that I want to, I guess apologize. But what I have is to tell you is so important, and what is happening to our states, and the danger that our families and in particularly our children are in is imminent. It is imminent, and I'm going to give you the evidence of the danger that we are in under these governor's executive orders in Idaho, in Washington, in Oregon, California, and most of the other states. If you remember, a few weeks ago, I spoke about the Washington State Department of Children and Youth Family Services posting an employment ad on governmentjobs.com and ZipRecruiter, asking for DCYF employees in certain counties to apply. And the job posting said that they would be supervising and supporting children and youth in emergency quarantine centers. Now that got quite a bit of attention. Also on the job posting, it listed three facility names and addresses of these children emergency quarantine centers, and that was their terminology. It also said that the social services worker would care for children who are either COVID-19 positive or who may be exposed to COVID-19. Once that video got out and it reached a lot of people, I would say it went viral, and the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families took the postings down, and then they replaced it with a letter. And in that letter it says a few things, and I think it's further revealing. It says, basically, the video that we did and what others are doing was misinformation that was spreading as a result to the job description. They further said the post prematurely included sites of potential location in the community where we could house children in our legal care. It goes on, the facilities listed are not affiliated with the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families. Okay, so, and then it says the listings have since been taken down. Further goes on, it says these facilities are for the limited scope and not considered quarantine centers. However, it says right in their job posting that these are children and youth emergency quarantine centers. That was the title of them. And so by this letter, it seems to me like information got out that wasn't supposed to get out. But why would it be like that? Why would they have the quarantine centers listed? Why would they have the addresses, the names? Why would they say that it's emergency quarantine centers and then reverse their basically job posting and saying, oh, it was all unauthorized. The whole job posting was unauthorized. It wasn't supposed to be there, and caused people to be concerned, but it's all misinformation. Okay? Now, maybe you might believe that or might not, but I am here to give you some more evidence that that job posting was exactly what they were planning on doing and still planning on doing. And not only in Washington, but here in Idaho and in many other states. So if you remember, on March 13th, Idaho Governor Brad Little placed us in a state of emergency. We had like a handful of COVID cases. It was ridiculous. We're a state of 1.8 million people, and we had literally a handful of cases, and we were put in a state of emergency. So you have to ask the question, why? Because I'm backing up here a little bit, then I'm going to go right into, what Governor Little is doing when it comes to our families and our children. So let's back up here. Friday, March 13th, President Trump announced that $50 billion is available for states under emergency. The very same day, Governor Little announced that Idaho is a state of emergency. I wonder why. It certainly wasn't because of the COVID cases in the state. It was because of the $50 billion that was available to him. Then, later, Trump and Pelosi announced that they're going to pass a $2 trillion bill. What do you know? Just a few days later, almost the exact same time, Governor Little puts the state of Idaho in extreme state of emergency and under 46601, which actually is martial law. Chapter 6, so Title 46, Chapter 6, it is titled Martial Law and Active Duty. So right now, the state of Idaho is under martial law. We are not a republican form of government anymore. We are a dictatorship, and I'm not saying that calling names or trying to incite. We are literally under martial law, and what that does is to suspend the republican form of government. It suspends the legislature's primary duties, and it puts the governor in ultimate power of the state. The purpose of this is so that he can handle an emergency quickly, resolve it if needed, and protect the rights of the people. But that's not what it's being used for. In fact, the Idaho law, now stick with me because I'm going to get to where we're going here, but you got to understand this part too, because all the other states are doing the same thing or very similar. So Idaho law 46-1008 says that when we're put in a state of emergency under the governor has 30 days. And then if it needs to, he can extend it for another 30 days. And after that, we go back to a republican form of government, a representative government, right? However, before that 60 days came up, Governor Little enacted 46601, which is the martial law. And in it, it doesn't have any provision to end. So now Governor Little has full control of the state of Idaho, including all its funding, all its activities. Now that Governor Little has all the power in the state of Idaho to do whatever he wants, he thinks anyway, and now he has about $1.4 billion of federal funding to do whatever he wants. What is he actually doing? What is he doing with that money? And what is he doing with the laws? Okay, so I wish I didn't have to inform you of this. But what Governor Little has been doing with the laws is he has been changing them. He's been suspending them. That's probably the better term. He has been suspending the laws. But what laws is he suspending? He is suspending laws such as this: visitation for child's parents or legal guardians. So yes, if a child was taken by the state is required by law to allow the parents or the guardians to visit the child. Governor Little has suspended that. He has suspended that law. Also, he has suspended the law that requires the state to notify the parent if the child is moved or if the condition of the child has changed. Governor Little has suspended that law, where the state no longer has to notify the parents. He also suspended the law where the parent can appeal of the state's decision. He has completely suspended that law. It's no longer required, and the parents no longer can appeal the state's decisions in moving them, the condition in which they're in, the fact that they have taken them. All of that has been suspended. Now, I wish that was it. But Governor Little has also suspended the requirements state agents must follow when housing and caring for children in their legal care. Some of these suspensions include bathroom requirements, meaning having bathrooms or having private bathrooms or having enough bathrooms. Also sleeping room requirements, so that females and males are housed in the same room, so that there's enough rooms for the children. That has all been suspended. Also, how many staff to children they must have. Now there is no requirement to how many staff you have to have for children. Also, fire safety requirements for the facility has been scratched. The facility doesn't have to have any fire safety requirements. What about this? Employee training in the facility and with the children. They don't have to have any training anymore. That's all been scratched. No training. Also, health inspections for the facility and for the children been suspended by Governor Little. Suspended. Even waiving the need to have a facility licensed is gone. It's gone altogether. And so you'll find these requirements under 160602 under child care and licensing. You'll find them and you'll see how they have been suspended. So the question is why? Why would Governor Brad Little waive the rules that protects parents' rights when their child is taken by the state? Why would Governor Little suspend the state's facility requirements for housing children and the requirements for training the staff? Why would he do these things specifically for children if there's not a plan to take children and put them in the quarantine centers? As many of you know, I was arrested and had to fight through 2 major trials. And I was acquitted on both trials, but meanwhile, they held me away from my family in prisons for 2 years. And my family, my brothers, my dad, and many friends for 2 years. Well, I want to tell you about those facilities. First of all, none of them met code because they couldn't. Because they would put us in these rooms with 100 men in them. And they would stack us in bunk beds 2 or 3 high. And then along the wall were the toilets. And so you had to go to the bathroom right in front of everybody, and same with showering. There was no bathroom requirements. There was no room requirements or codes or laws. There was no, all that was scratched. Why? So that they could legally house hundreds of people cheap and effectively. So it was easy for them to do that. We had 100 men, and there was 1 guard. There wasn't a huge staff to inmate ratio. And that's what I am certain is going on here. I mean, how can I not think that? How can we not think that? They are scratching all these things. Let me go down through this. I want to show you what they're doing. They're scratching these. Suspension of license, employee and volunteer training, staff ratios, fire safety requirements, public health district inspections, bathroom facilities, sleeping rooms and beds, visitation of child's parents, notification of change in visitation, notifications right to participate and appeal. They're scratching the rules for contact with children. Yes, they're scratching those rules. Many others. You can see the evidence, and I'm going to link it too, so you can see that. This is what is happening right now in Idaho. And Brad Little is doing this because he has the ultimate executive power. And he has been funded now. He's got $1.4 billion to do this. And you have to ask why. Are they planning on forcing contact tracing? Are they planning on forcing immunization? And those who will not comply, they'll have their children taken from them under the guise of public health? Is that what's going on? And they know they're going to have so many children that they have to have leniency on the staff, on the facilities, and they can't allow parents to come in and visit. They can't allow them to appeal the state's decisions, and they can't allow, and they certainly can't notify the parents of every change because there's too many children. And so it makes perfect sense why he would do this. Perfect sense. Why else would he do this? So I ask the question again. Why would Governor Brad Little waive the rules that protect parents and children's rights when they're taken by the state? Why? So I am giving you this evidence to warn you of what is probably happening in your state also, and for those in Idaho, warning you what is happening for sure in our state. And I've listed the evidence. I've showed some of it here. And I've also give you a link here at the bottom that you can go to and actually look at the evidence. You can even go into their websites and see it. I am not speaking out the side of my mouth. Many people have spent hours and hours and hours researching this to present it to you. So please understand, there's something called the National Governors Association. And they communicate all amongst governors. They spread all information. And there is certainly this bleeding over of action among all the governors. So there's a good chance that what's happening in Idaho is also happening in your state. I hope that it's not, but there's a good chance that it is. And if it is, you need to understand it. You need to get your brain wrapped around it and learn how to fight it. Here in Idaho, we have found a way to fight it. It's through the legislatures, like we're supposed to, through a Republican form of government, right? So the legislatures in Idaho, we have a way to end this. And that is on the 90th day, which is June 23rd, the 90th day from March 25th, automatically convene at the place where the governor has his office. That would be the Capitol. And then they can enact 46-1008 and end the order immediately. And what to do with all the funds? Well, then the legislature should decide that, not the governor. And it shouldn't be for children's quarantine centers. Governor Little, I'm going to save my words for you. I'm going to save my words for you. Anyway, thank you. Thank you. Please do your due diligence in your own states. In Idaho, I'll be doing another video of what you, all of us must do together to ensure that our legislatures come together. And if they don't, the law actually says those who do not show up, it does not matter, because those that do show up can make a quorum and have the very same power as if they were convened all together. So thank you for your time.